Welcome to A Healthier, Happier You, the people working to make it happen. I'm Evan J. Cholfin from Luxhammer, where we help the brands that help you live healthier. Today, I'm joined by Stacey Kinder, investor and head of strategy at Nashville Cats Beverages, who's bringing authentic Nashville culture back through innovative RTD beverages. After 15 years with the Tennessee Titans and extensive experience in entertainment marketing, she's now leading an exciting new venture in the beverage space. Stacey, thanks for being here.
Wow, Evan, thanks for having me.
So let's start with the Nashville Cats story. Who were they and why are they so important to Nashville's musical heritage?
Yeah, the Nashville Cats, people don't always know how the whole Nashville story got started with being Music City, USA, and to the extreme party scene that it is now on what we call Lower Broadway. But back in the 1960s, we had a group of about a half dozen to a dozen really incredible studio musicians that got the music recording industry started on Music Row. Guys like Charlie McCoy and Jerry Reed and names that most people have never heard of, but that could run in the studio and lay down tracks and have it be really the best in the country. And they started getting famous when Bob Dylan came to Nashville to record, and he made a quote that said, "You've got to go record with those cats down in Nashville." And then before you know it, kind of that rock and roll era that was starting to happen in the early to mid 60s started finding its way to Nashville. The Monkees recorded here with the Nashville Cats. Like I said, Bob Dylan, Johnny Cash, who's actually from Memphis, came over to Nashville because of the Nashville Cats musicians. Neil Young recorded in Nashville with these studio musicians. So that's really how it started. And we, as a group of native Nashvillians, really want to create a brand that's an homage to those original Nashville Cats and the reason, really, that Nashville became what it is today.
That's really cool. You have a fascinating background from NFL to performance coaching to beverages. How did your path lead to Nashville Cats?
Well, I've been in Nashville a long time. I am not a native, but I did come in my early 20s to explore the music business and the entertainment business, and had a great opportunity to work with the Tennessee Titans, and as both an on-field with the NFL and then kind of behind the scenes in entertainment marketing and game day entertainment, and was able to meet a lot of the who's who in Nashville through my opportunity with the Titans.
Yeah, that's really cool. So you mentioned wanting to maintain authenticity in an increasingly commercialized Nashville. How are you approaching that balance?
Well, Evan, we love people like you having us on to really talk about that Nashville Cats story that we just don't want to get lost. We're really afraid that as Nashville moves on and we have all of these honky tonks on Lower Broad that are named for today's artists who are amazing, but we don't want the history to ever be forgotten. So we really want to build that Nashville Cats brand around our beverages, both alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages, and then maybe make it bigger through merchandise and beyond, so that folks see the brand, then they have to research what does that mean, and then they find out who these amazing session players, really talented musicians were that laid this foundation that now all of us are so taking advantage of and lucky to have.
Yeah, for sure. So what makes Nashville Cats unique in the RTD space?
What makes it unique in the RTD space is, first of all, we're doing a super low calorie RTD, which is a ready to drink cocktail on both our alcoholic brand and our non-alcoholic brand. We'll have a Nashville Cats non-alcoholic Tennessee tea coming super soon. That'll be a very authentic tasting Tennessee tea with no alcohol for our fans and friends who are non-drinkers, but both of which are going to be low calorie. No sweeteners are in our vodka cocktail, natural flavors, lemon lime. It's also a lower alcohol content, only 5% ABV. So it's got, so you can take it to a music festival, which is where we want to see people enjoying it. It's as a social tonic, but that's not got a super high ABV. So you can enjoy a couple of cold cocktails made with a premium vodka outside during a festival. And then with our Tennessee tea, it's going to have a great flavor, but again, it's going to stay below 50 calories. So it's something that you can drink and know that you are staying health conscious with what you put into your body.
Yeah, absolutely. So who's your ideal customer and how are you planning to reach them?
Our ideal customer is that fan of Nashville, right? Nashville is arguably the United States is its city right now. You know, there's a phrase, Nashville is the new LA. We not only are recording music here of every genre, the film industry is here in Nashville. Healthcare is huge in Nashville. We are just exploding with growth. And so we want people that come to Nashville and want something that's very authentic, a brand that feels authentic for them to enjoy, both from a beverage standpoint and from a merchandise standpoint. So that target market is fans who are 21 to about 35, who love music, who love Nashville, who know what Nashville means to the music industry, who love music, and we want to see them taking part in building this brand with us.
That's great. And I know there's a philanthropic effort too. So, how are you planning to integrate the philanthropic focus with music education?
Yep, that's a really important part of building our brand. I think some people sometimes think when they see brands like this, particularly in the alcohol industry, they expect you to partner with one artist. There's a lot of artists out there with their own tequila, their own beers, their own vodkas. And we've kind of taken a different approach that we want to appeal to all the Nashville Cats, the Nashville Cats original in the 1960s, and those musicians who are there today. And to do that, we want to partner so that a portion of all of our revenues go toward giving back to Nashville's music philanthropies. We've already partnered with a philanthropy called Love Learning Music, which is a group that partners with our local school systems to help children with learning disabilities learn through music, who might learn better through music. They're having a lot of great success with that. We also want to partner with Music Cares and which is some traveling musicians who go to our local hospitals to spread joy, cheer, and love to patients in hospitals, along with some philanthropies that provide health care to musicians. That's a big one for me. These musicians have amazing talents, but oftentimes health insurance doesn't come with that. And so they need some help finding insurance, navigating the world of insurance, and then also sometimes helping pay those medical bills. So we don't want people to ever feel like they can't choose their talent because they're worried about the medical side. So we want to support philanthropies that do that so we can really keep that music playing here in Nashville.
I love that. So, changing topics a little bit, what's been your biggest challenge in prepping for the launch for Nashville Cats this year?
Well, anybody who's been in consumer packaged goods, CPG, knows that it is no easy task. Dealing with the regulations and the government, and finding a manufacturer who suits you are all challenges. I'm not sure I can necessarily pick just one. In the alcohol beverages, you have to have your label approved by the TTB, the Alcohol Tobacco Bureau. It's a federal agency, and they can approve or not approve your label for any reason really they choose. And there's not a lot of recourse. So that certainly has been one challenge, getting our label approved by the federal government, and then finding a co-packer that's willing to work with a startup. A lot of manufacturers don't want to work with small startups. That's probably true throughout the CPG, the consumer packaged goods industry, is that when you're a startup, you aren't going to start up with millions and millions of units of product. And many manufacturers, that's who they want to deal with. They want to deal with those experienced suppliers who are going to come in with an initial investment in the millions and not an initial investment in the thousands of units. So finding someone who wants to help you grow and who understands that you're not just building a one-stop shop, in this case, a beverage, that we really want to build a whole brand, and finding a manufacturer who's an actual partner versus just being a vendor. That was a challenge, but I'm really excited with who we landed with.
Yeah, well, that's good to hear. What's been most challenging wearing both investor and operator hats?
Well, we're a small team. We're a team of only 5 investors here in Nashville, and right now I am the strategist that's working on getting it to markets, finding contractors that I trust and can work within our budget. Obviously, anybody who's a CEO or a head of strategy, you can't do everything, so you've got to find people that you outsource those jobs to. Particularly right now, we're not in a place where we're hiring employees, so everything is going to be in a contract basis. So contracting designers and contracting web developers, contracting social media experts, and finding all of those right people so that we can get everything up and rolling. And then doing a lot of the hands-on parts of it myself, right? I'm writing copy for the website. I'm writing copy for the labels, and having to do a lot of that hands-on as just me. But if you're going to be a part of a startup, you have to be really willing to wear a lot of different hats.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess along those lines, how did your year at Big Machine Distillery prepare you for this venture?
Really, it was like a master's class in the wine and spirits industry. I came from the world of entertainment, and my brand now, Nashville Cats Beverages, is kind of a blend of wine and spirits with entertainment. We want to be a very entertainment focused brand, but obviously you have to know what's going on in wine and spirits, which is a very, very different industry. Really different from anything else, even food and beverage. Food and beverage is its own world versus wine and I think people don't realize how close we still are to prohibition. So many of the rules in place, particularly by the federal government, were put in place after prohibition, and they haven't gone away. And then every state is different. You have the federal rules that overlie, and then each state has their own individual set of rules with regard to wine and spirits. And so working with Big Machine Distillery, who's a smaller distillery, but they do have distribution across 30 plus states in the nation, really prepared me to learn about the nitty gritty about wine and spirits. And also Big Machine, which comes from the music industry. Big Machine is headed by Scott Borchetta, who many associate with Finding Taylor Swift. And so he started the distillery also with a distillery and entertainment kind of blend as well. So it's nice to go from one brand like that to another.
Yeah, definitely. And what do you foresee as your biggest challenges in raising awareness and educating your customers about the brand and product?
I think like anybody who's launching a new brand, you just getting that word out is finding your most cost-effective way of marketing and messaging and using those dollars wisely. When you're with a startup, you really have to pick and choose how you're going to use your digital media, how you're going to use event marketing, how many places you want to distribute to. We're going to start small. We're going to market just in Nashville. We're going to launch the product just in Nashville because luckily for us, the whole world comes to Nashville. Our plan to bring the world to Nashville, where we're launching our product, we will market to markets where they have a high visitation rate of places that come to Nashville a lot, so that when they come to town, they look for our brand, and then send them away, hopefully with merchandise, circling back to the website, then to purchase through all of our e-commerce campaigns that way as they leave Nashville. And if we can find success with that, we'll look to grow our distribution into other states.
Yeah, that's exciting. So along those lines, what are your main growth targets for the launch this year?
Our main growth targets for our launch this year is we hope that we sell out of our first runs. We're going to run with about 1,000 cases of our 12-ounce cocktail, another 1,000 of our 19.2-ounce cocktail. Hopefully we'll get some fall festivals that will include us on their festival menu. And then we'll get our tea out there again with that and sell out of our tea. So if we can get each of our runs distributed and successfully sold and then re-raise that capital for 2026, and then move forward to larger production runs with our manufacturer when we have the whole summer, the CMA Fest, when we have a large tour season, we'll know that we're really onto something.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, what trends are you seeing in the RTD space that excite you?
I'm really excited that RTDs are one of the only areas of wine and spirits that are still growing. Um, Gen Z has kind of shown us that they don't drink as much alcohol as preceding generations right now. With the rise of cannabis, that's taken some of the wine and spirits industry away. They're seeing, especially with beer is losing market share, and some premium spirits are losing market share. But the RTD space is still rising, as long as it's a good quality RTD ready to drink cocktail. It's got good branding behind it, and it's priced well for that market. So the RTDs are still doing well. People are exploring. It's a growth opportunity. It's something new that a lot of wine and spirits consumers haven't yet tasted. So it is the area that's still growing. If you own a premium winery right now and you're selling wine, it's a tough world out there. I'll tell you. That is probably not the space I would go into in food and beverage and wine and spirits. But RTDs are doing great and really growing.
Yeah, that's great. What opportunities are you most excited about capitalizing on?
I'm really most excited about partnering with our downtown honky tonks, if you will, getting our Nashville Cats vodka cocktail put into all of the local honky tonks so that they do have something that's local on their shelves. Because I think when our fans come to town, that's what they're looking for. They want that authentic Nashville experience. So getting our drink into both our alcoholic and our non-alcoholic Tennessee tea into those honky tonks so that folks that can come down there they take advantage of that, and then raising those revenues so that we're able to write those checks back to philanthropies and really getting a large part of our Nashville music scene involved in raising awareness for those music philanthropies will be an exciting piece of our messaging.
Yeah, that's so cool. What potential challenges are you preparing for?
Well, you're always preparing for the challenge of rejection, right? Sometimes if you go into a space and you want your product on the shelf, that may mean they have to knock something else off the shelf, and they don't want to do that. So how are we going to come to market with an opportunity to get that shelf space, and finding those really creative ideas where our retail outlets, both what we call on-premise and off-premise, restaurants and bars and liquor stores, are willing to give us that shelf space. So really working with some creative minds to find creative ways of convincing those folks to add us to their inventory.
Yeah, definitely. So, if we were to have this conversation again in 12 months, what would you feel it's been a successful year?
That we sold out it by the end of 2025 of all of our runs, and that we are at midsummer, and we are producing tens of thousands of cases and at music festivals at different parts of the country, and then particularly really hitting home runs in our home base of Lower Broadway here in Nashville.
Yeah, well, I foresee that for you. So, it's an exciting brand, an exciting time for you. I couldn't be more pleased at what you're doing.
Thank you, Evan. Well, we welcome everybody to come to Nashville. We love our tourists. We love the folks that love Nashville, that keep coming back year in and year out to the CMA Fest, to come to Titans games. I'm a huge advocate. I am Nashville's biggest cheerleader. I have been for the past 25 years, and I just want to invite everybody to come. And when you come to Nashville, make sure you try some Nashville Cats vodka cocktails, Nashville Cats Tennessee tea, and maybe by then we'll have a Nashville Cats whiskey cocktail too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you. And that's it for today's episode of A Healthier, Happier You, the people working to make it happen. A huge thank you to Stacie for sharing her insights and amazing work that Nashville Cats Beverages is doing to help people live happier lives. If you enjoyed this conversation, make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who could benefit. And if you're a brand or business making impact in health, wellness, or personal care, we'd love to help you grow. Connect with me at luxhammer.com. Thanks for listening. Until next time, stay healthy, stay happy, and keep making a difference.